the city of the sun. You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New. Yeah.
Boom.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
Alright, so this is a little bit politics here. Alright, I started listening to that and then I was like, let me share it. Alright, from this point on, if you're not about the US politics, you could stop. Okay, I don't ever want to use his name again. How about we normalize using his convicted number after September 18th? Alright, let's listen to this.
Hey Democrats, without mentioning Donald Trump, tell me why you're going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Sure, I'll give it a try. She's going to protect access to abortion, birth control, and in vitro fertilization. She's going to cut taxes for the middle class. She's going to raise the minimum wage. She's going to protect LGBTQ plus people. She's going to decrease medical debt and school debt.
For those who are outside of the US, okay, to give you a small insight without going too deep into that, the US system has 3 branches of government. You have the Senate, the executive, and the Supreme Court. Okay, the executive is the presidency. This is who signed the bills into law. The House, the Senate has the House and the Senate are 2 chambers. This is where it really matters. These people, okay, the little people, American vote them in. There are, 100 senators and couple hundreds, 400 something. Let me give you the correct number in terms of representative. Okay, 435. Okay, 435 representatives that come across the US. Okay? And then for the Senate, there are 102 from each state. Okay? So all of them, they don't want the House and the Senate have to agree on the same bill. If the one chamber disagree, it doesn't go to the president. So the president do not make the law. The president sign the law. Whatever both chambers have agreed upon, okay, and they vote on it. From each state, they vote to see if they agree or disagree with the law. The majority of the vote that cast for this particular bill, okay, will go to the next house, and then they will vote on it. If some of them had some issues, they could send it back to the house and make certain tweak here and there, include or remove some part of it or whatever, and then they vote on it again, and the majority of it, if they agree, it goes back to the Senate, and then the same thing happen until all of them agree in terms of majority votes. Okay, then it goes to the president. Then the president will either sign it into law or veto it. Or the president could send it back to both chambers and say, this is what I want in this bill or whatever. And then the same process again happen. They could add it, or depending on what the president said, they could add it or remove it, and then they vote on it again. Majority of it, let's say they agree, it goes to the Senate, same process again. And if the president agrees to it, and sign it into law. The president do not make the law. What Kamala Harris is saying, this is what she will support. Okay? And this is sometimes when those senators who are being paid by special interests, who said, don't do this or add this to the law, and they will sort of, how said that? It's not black, could be blackmail. What's the term? There's probably a more legal term for it, where senators will say, okay, if you don't sign this bill with this particular part of the law in it, you know, we will not agree to it. So some negotiation goes back and forth. Okay? But the overall, what I want to say here, the president do not make the law. It's the Senate and the House of Representatives. Now, the third branch, which is the Supreme Court of the United States, they do not make the law as well. What they do, they interpret the law. When something comes before them, depend on what law the Senate and the House have written and it was signed into law, they interpret it, and you know, whether someone followed the law or did not follow the law. Okay? So that's that. Let's continue. Let me start maybe here. I move it back slightly.
And in vitro fertilization. She's going to cut taxes for the middle class. She's going to raise the minimum wage. She's going to protect LGBTQ plus people. She's going to decrease medical debt and school debt. She's going to take care of our troops. She's going to address climate change. She's going to protect unions. She's going to improve our infrastructure. She's going to protect and expand access to Medicare, Medicaid, and the Affordable Care Act. She's going to confront Big Pharma to decrease the cost of prescription drugs. She's going to support Ukraine and all of our NATO allies. She's going to make sure that history is continued to be taught in public schools. She's going to sign a bipartisan bill to address the southern border. She's going to respect the separation of church and state.
That's very
She's
important.
going to negotiate to bring hostages home in Israel and work towards a two-state solution. She's going to address the housing crisis and help people purchase a house. She will protect democracy. And it's pronounced Kamala. Kamala. And if you have any trouble with that, soon you'll be calling her Madam President.
Okay, so since I was talking so much, let's look at the role of president. All right, the president is both the head of state and head of government of the United States of America, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces under Article 2 of the Constitution. President is responsible for the execution and enforcement of the law created by Congress. There it is here. Enforcement of the law created by Congress. Okay, let me see who writes the law of the United States. Okay, so there's that here. All right, there it is here. Congress, as one of the 3 co-equal branches of the government, is ascribed significant powers by the Constitution. All legislative power in the government is vested in Congress. Okay, Congress, meaning that it is the only part of the government that can make new law or change it. Okay, or change existing laws. All right, Congress do that. The House and the Senate, they both have to agree. This is where a lot of the Congress, the Senate have the 100, and the House have 435, and they all come all across the country. All right, this is where people vote for whichever. So in order for Kamala Harris to implement some of the things she said, when we vote, we have to vote for people who agrees and align with her as well. All right, and we already know from President Obama experience, presidency, and the midterm election, people did not go vote. So on the first half of his presidency, the first term, okay, people vote for Democrats. They gave him the House and the Senate. This is how the Affordable Care Act was able to pass, because there were people who were aligned with Obama's policy. That's how we were able to get it. And then come the midterm, the same type of things that the UK does to make good things look bad. Okay, start saying that President Obama, I don't know, the Tea Party started and all of that. I don't want to go through all of this. All right, they make it seems like the ACA was bad, and I think they give it the nickname Obamacare, and I think Obama made a reference to it in his speech during the DNC, and he said I don't see them calling Obamacare anymore. All right, so they throw misinformation out there and made the people vote against their best interests, and we went AWire from that point on. So in order for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to be able, Tim Walz is just a supporting person. If anything were to happen to the president, the vice president take over, and based on if, for instance, there's a tie break that needs to happen in terms of vote, he will be there to split the tie break, which Kamala Harris have done as vice president. All right, so that's that. Let's move on. I went too far on this. All right, and I think the tweet is finished. I just wanted to let people outside of the US to know this is not a communist or dictatorship where Kamala wants to can do everything, and this is what Trump wants to do. Remove the Constitution. He's the only one who could do everything. Remove all our system that we have, the Project 25. Remove, dismantle everything that we have. He's the only one who could solve any problem. Can you imagine with that idiot in office? All right, next tweet. All right, so this, I didn't think I could like her more, but here we are. And I think the reason I put this, I think Keir Simmer, is that his name? The Prime Minister, who's the Prime Minister of the UK? I think it's Keir Simmer, his name is. Let me look it up. Him. Keir Starmer. I said Simmer. It's Starmer. All right, and I think before the July 4th election, there was somewhere I read he went to meet with Murdoch. Okay, that particular article, I don't see it. I type here, did Keir Starmer met with Murdoch before the July 4th election? There was an old article I saw. And I was like, knowing what was going on in the UK, we have massive peaceful protests. Some of them are not even sure. You have NHS out there protesting and all of that. Labour had the upper hand. So I don't know if let's just say allegedly he met with Murdoch. Okay, because I cannot see the article anymore to show you. So he went and met allegedly with Murdoch, and then you have Murdoch here endorsing him. Labour Party had the upper hand. Majority of the UK were tired of the nonsense that the Tories were doing. So why would he bow down to Murdoch? Because if he had his senses to know that majority of the people want something different, why even bow down, or whatever, if there was allegedly a deal with Murdoch or whatever? Why would you do that? You had the upper hand just to get an endorsement. You already knew majority of the Brits were for a change, unless if I'm missing something with common sense over there. And I think there is some, you know, let me not even go there. And I think the main reason that I shared this was the moment similar to allegedly Keir Simmer met with Murdoch. This is almost the same thing here. And Kamala Harris just passed it on. Didn't even bother to meet with him because she doesn't need him. I don't even think Kamala Harris have sat down with mainstream media or any publication in the US to talk to them, because we already seen the pattern of behavior similar to the UK that's happening in the US. Everything that Trump is doing, they're publishing it, they're showing it. If Kamala Harris is doing a rally, they will not show her thing, but they will show Trump and all of that. Without any backup from the mainstream media, Kamala Harris is doing pretty well, considering the fact that mainstream media is not even trying to, you know, we're not saying for, it's just not balanced. Let's just say here, they're not showing both candidates in a balanced way. You could see more favoritism toward one. All right, so this is why that I'm sharing this. Similar to what Labour Party did, and Kamala moment, she just let it go. She didn't sit down and meet with him. All right, so there's this here. Robert Kennedy Jr., Kamala Harris declined to meet or even to speak with me. All right, I don't know, something is not right. I don't even think he really wanted to run. For some reason, I feel like in order to reduce the vote for Kamala, this is why he was going third party, to reduce Kamala's vote. But now he dropped out. Let's listen to him. It's only 20 seconds.
And interfering with our elections. Following my first discussion with President Trump, I tried unsuccessfully to open similar discussions with Vice President Harris. Vice President Harris declined to meet or even to speak with me, suspending my candidacy and interfering with our elections.
So that was that. It's repeating. All right, so there's me here. I mean, why meet with him? His own family disagree with him. She's not struggling in the poll. As far as I'm concerned, I could be wrong. I don't think she met with mainstream media for a sit-down interview. I'm just happy he's out. Ruined the family's name. All right, so that's that. And I believe this is my last one. All right, so this has to do with Tim Walz's son. It's not the clip of Tim Walz's son, but this is someone who's making reference to Tim Walz. Let me go look for the video of Tim Walz's son who was showing how proud he was for his father, so you will understand what this video is about. Let me go search for it. Okay, so I found a clip that pretty much shows the part that I really wanted to share with you. Let's listen. I'm sorry there will be some screenshot in between, because it seems like I'm the only channel that seems to have issues with YouTube with this type of things. I have to interrupt the videos and put screenshot in between. Let's listen.
If you've never experienced the hell that is infertility, I guarantee you, you know somebody who has. And I can remember praying each night for a phone call. The pit in your stomach when the phone would ring, and the absolute agony when we heard the treatments hadn't worked. It took Gwen and I years, but we had access to fertility treatments. And when our daughter was born, we named her Hope. Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you. I'm letting you in on how we started a family, because this is a big part about what this election is about.
Okay.
If you...
So that was the part when the boy, what's his name, Gus, here, All right. So I've learned, I didn't know, that he has speech problem. So I don't know the full story, so let me not even go into it. But his gesture saying, "This is my dad, I love you," and all of that, the Republicans were making fun of him. You know, it's not masculine, it's not this, it's not that, and all of that. Then later on, some of them find out he has some issues. Okay, learning disabilities. Let me look it up because I do not know much about him. All right, since I don't know much about his condition, I think it's best for me to read the article, and the link is in the description. All right, I've already put it. Tim Walz's son Gus has nonverbal learning disorder. What is that? All right, let's see here. After his heartfelt reaction to his father's acceptance speech at the Democratic National Convention thrust him into the spotlight, 17-year-old Gus Walz has become one of the most high-profile people with nonverbal learning disorder. The condition doesn't mean Gus can't speak. He does. After hearing his dad, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, describe his family as "my entire world," Wednesday night, the tearful teenager rose to his feet, pointing toward the stage and said, "That's my dad." Wow. It's very touching. Alright, so let's continue. Gus is one of millions of Americans with nonverbal learning disorder. A 2020 study in JAMA Network Open estimate that 3% to 4% of children and adolescents in the US may have the condition, and another study this year and scientific reports concluded that the prevalence in children may be as high as 8%. The condition known as nonverbal learning disorder, okay, NVLD, was first recognized in 1967. When you go on this link, all of this, you could click and read further into it. I'm just going to focus on this article only, so I have a better understanding about him. The condition known as NVLD was first recognized in 1967 and doesn't yet have a formal clinical definition. It is characterized by a significant gap between verbal abilities, which are just fine, and nonverbal kinds of learning that involve visual spatial processing, such as telling times on an analog clock, reading a map, and balancing a budget. Those challenges with spatial awareness can give children trouble with motor skills that can make them clumsy or cause problems with tasks like tying shoes, using silverware, and writing by hand, according to the NVLD Nonverbal Learning Disorder Project, a non-profit that aims to have the condition added to the American Psychiatric Association Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder. In a way, having NVLD is like the opposite of having dyslexia. According to Scott Bezilko, who works with neurodivergent students as executive director of Winston Preparatory School, reading is a lot of problem for kids with NVLD who often have a large vocabulary. They're also able to recall facts and memorize things like multiplication tables. School becomes more challenging toward the end of elementary school, when learning becomes more about noticing patterns and applying concepts that can cause problems with reading comprehension and more advanced kinds of math problems. Nonverbal learning disorder also affect higher order thinking, which is used to organize our thoughts and plan a project that requires multiple steps. Tim Walz and his wife Gwen told People magazine that they noticed differences between Gus and his classmate from an early age, and that those differences become increasingly clear as he grew older. The couple, both teachers, didn't specify what those differences were. Gus was recognized as having learning disorder when he was becoming a teenager, adding that he also has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and anxiety disorder. It's not uncommon for people with nonverbal learning disorder to have an ADHD diagnosis as well, according to the Child's Mind Institute. Both conditions can make a child seem disorganized or inattentive. In the case of nonverbal learning disorder, it's because they don't understand the assignment being discussed. Some features of nonverbal learning disorder also overlap with the autism spectrum disorder. People with nonverbal learning disorder may be socially awkward because they don't recognize the meaning behind facial expressions, body language, and other nonverbal forms of communication. They may compensate by asking a lot of questions, which can come off as annoying. Wow. I mean, I'm reading this and I'm thinking, with so many people with this, all sort of disorders, so many disorders, and then you have sometimes cops who, because I've seen some stuff where cops is being so harsh to some people who having issues. There's one, it was too harsh to even watch the video. There's this lady who's in the car sitting in a, what do you call this, disabled parking area, and the person is disabled, and she had the thing that says she's disabled. In the US, you could have the symbol disabled, you know, it's like a small thing you could put on your windshield, so when you park somewhere, they know you, or your license plate could have that disabled symbol in it. So the cop was being so harsh, pulling the woman out of the car when the woman literally was disabled. So there's so much that needs to be taught with law enforcement, who's actually interact with individuals, the people who, you know, everyday people. I don't know, this just crossed my mind. Let's continue. Alright, all this is to have a better understanding of the video that I'm about to share with you, because it makes reference to Gus Walz, which is Tim Walz's son. Okay, difficulty with visual spatial processing can make it hard for those with nonverbal learning disorder to respect other people's personal space. Plus, their challenges have pattern recognition, give them trouble relating past experiences to new situation. Traits like these can make it hard to make friends, experts say. That tracks with the Walz experience. Gus prefers video games and spending more time by himself, his parents told People. Okay, comedian Chris Rock said that when he learned as an adult that he had nonverbal learning disorder, it explained a lot of things from his past. Although he's great with words, I think I have a hard time with nonverbal cue with people. I always have, Rock said in 2021 interview with Extra. They said 70% of communication is nonverbal, so my relationship, even with my family or women, I did it or whatever, there was always something a little off, and I can't put my finger on it. The causes of nonverbal learning disorder are not clear, although the deficit associated with the condition involve processes that occur in the right hemisphere of the brain. Studies sponsored by the Nonverbal Learning Disorder Project that compare brain scan of people with and without the disorder found differences in both hemispheres. Okay, so there's a link here. Okay, so there's more. Okay, I'm almost done actually. Yeah, I'm almost done, so you guys could finish with it. The link is in the description. So in other words, Tim Walz's son, who I share with you here, the internet, the MAGA people went after him, just showing some loving, emotional, and respect. I mean, how many people who would love to have their kids telling their parents vice versa, the love and admiration they have for each other as a family, you know, this kind of emotional thing. All right, let me play. Let's do it from here. Let's play it one more time before I go to my last video.
Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you. On how we started a family.
That is that.
Because this is a big part about what this election is about.
Okay.
If you've never...
All right, so that's that. Now back to Twitter, why I had to share this with you. All right, let's pause this. Okay, so there's no caption here. It's just heart and prayer. So let's listen to this guy.
But I just saw for the first time, I saw the video of Tim Walz's son, Gus, at the convention last night, and you guys know that we've been raising our grandbaby Kingston, But what I haven't ever mentioned, because it just simply doesn't matter in the big picture of things, is that he's also nonverbal.
Wow.
And he's autistic. And he's got there's challenges to raising him that I didn't have with my other sons. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. This baby is he's my life. He's my world. I'm telling you right now, if anybody says anything mean about Gus, I'm not going to be nice anymore. I'm proud of my grandbaby. And I know Tim Walz is proud of his son. I don't know why I felt compelled to need to do this, but it just, I guess it gave me some hope for my grandson. But it also made me realize there's going to be a lot of really ugly people out there doing a lot of really ugly things and saying a lot of really nasty things.
And they did.
And they're about to see a side of me that I don't even want to come out. Anyway, it's a special kid. Tim Walz is a special person. Let's just get to the ballot box and vote. Let's just shift the mood in this country.
That's right.
The reason I'm upset right now is because I know that there's a certain faction in our country of people that are going to be horrible to this child. So now it's personal.
Okay, so there's so many branches of things. It's like humanity was leaving this earth. Compassion, understanding, respect, none of this, it seems like, was foreign to people. This special gesture between father and son raised hell on the internet to the MAGAs, the Republicans, who claim they will have family value. And this is why I said a lot of things, it was to shed light onto things. The nastiness, the pretending of things to get people's vote, the mask is off pretty much. Okay? The son is so proud of his father and vice versa, showing some compassion between father and son, and the MAGAs went crazy. What they want is some, I don't know, masculine, this kind of things, I guess the Epstein type of things. I don't know what they consider to be masculine. But anyway, I thought I shared this with you, and I had to share the other video what came about this, and that also shed light to millions of other Americans who are going through some stuff. That when I was in college, one of the things that I did to earn money was babysitting. I have several. One of them was a child who had ADHD. Didn't speak at all. I think the parents will do anything for that child to speak. And you will never know he had any issues. That kid is so gorgeous. Right now, he's probably, maybe in he's adult now, probably, maybe even 30 years old. I don't know, but I used to go babysit for them. They have two kids, a daughter and a son. It's the son that had issues, and they will always call me because I guess they like me. Even the nonverbal child like me, and the daughter like me, and we will play soccer in the middle of the living room of a babysitter in terms of being a kid. But anyway, so I know how it feels. They need to have a little time out for themselves. They will call me. I will be the first one they call. I guess the daughter tell nice thing about me, I guess. And then yeah, but anyway, are there any comments? No, there's none. I thought I shared this with you, and that's all that I have. Let me see what other people are saying. So there were a couple things that I guess they deleted when the internet went after them. Right, it looks like Ann Coulter deleted her tweet about Gus Walz. Let this tweet be the end of her career. Alright, so that's one of the MAGA's people. I'm telling you, this is, I'm sure a lot of parents would love to have that reaction from their own kids. To see the kid so proud of you. Okay, Gus Walz reaction last night doesn't need justification. It doesn't matter if he is neurodivergent. Men can cry, men can show emotion. His reaction to his father's speech was absolutely beautiful. That's what I think too. Alright, so there's more people's talking about. Let me pause it. This woman responds to iHeartRadio host Jay Weber's heartless, vile, and cruel attack on Gus Walz is exactly how to handle hate-mongering MAGA fascists. Alright, they're showing themselves. I guess, I don't know. I don't want this kid to go through anything from the MAGA, but what I like about it, two things. It shows what regular family are going. It highlights some of the many thousands of issues, one of many issues that family goes through. And the second thing is the heartless of those MAGA's people. It brings out the good of the people to go after them and say, shut your mouth, leave the kid alone. Because too many of us, we're not that type of MAGA mentality. We stay quiet. We just mind our business. Sometimes we need the pushback. Alright? So let's listen to what this lady is saying.
So I think we can all agree that the moment during the Democratic convention when Tim Walz's neurodivergent son yelled out sobbing, "That's my dad," was the most beautiful moment in the convention.
That's what I thought too.
Not if you're a MAGA conservative, because this is an actual post from WISN Milwaukee's talk show host Jay Weber. That's an iHeartRadio affiliate, by the way. So let's make a phone call. 414-545-8900.
Calling iHeartMedia Milwaukee. 3 for questions regarding on-air programming and public service announcements. Press 4.
Hey, this is the place I'm supposed to leave questions about your programming. So I have a question about your programming. You have a DJ or a talk show host named Jay Weber, and he said something so vile and repugnant about Tim Walz's son Gus, who is neurodivergent, that I wouldn't even repeat it on this message. And I'm just curious, what is the timeline for him being fired? Because if he's not, I need to know who all your advertisers are so I can boycott every single one of them and make sure I boycott all of your stations as well. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye. No script. I just winged it. I hope you will too.
Alright, that's how you get these people, through their advertisers. Alright, so that's that. There's a lot. People are fighting back. That's what it is. People are fighting back. Wow, there's more. Governor Tim Walz and his special wonderful son Gus, my special needs son, and me, another Tim. I get the bond between this son and father, the immense love, and it only makes Tim Walz more endearing. That's what I thought too. And many times I thank God for my healthy kids, but so many other things I would say about that, but let's leave it as that. Because I've had experience working with people. This is nice. Wow, he looks like his father too. Wow. There's, this is a photo of Tim Walz and his son Gus at the Twins game a few years ago. Look at, wow. You know Tim Walz involved. He involved. Okay, what's this now? I was gonna stop, but these are coming. Alright, this is why Gus Walz touched so many of us. Let's see, 49 seconds. Let's see here.
I think we spend too much time being afraid of our own mediocrity. We don't want to sing too loudly in case anyone finds out we don't have a voice like glass. We don't write music because we aren't Mozart. We don't paint because we aren't Picasso. We don't tell people we love them because our voice might shake when we say it. We try to be pretty criers, and we don't dance because we aren't that good. The reality of our humanity is that we are all a little bit average at a lot of things. The truth is that we're all not that good, so stop holding yourself back from enjoying the things that you love because you're not a prodigy at everything. Scream the song at the top of your lungs and confess your love and let your voice be shaky. Cry big, ugly tears and dance really badly because life is too short.
That's right.
To be scared of being human.
Alright, there's a music in the back. There's that here. So happy to be telling Gwen Walz and Gus Walz in person how much I appreciate them. Navarro, she's a Republican, and these are some of the people who, you know, who saw what's happening. I will never forget Navarro. I had a second eye on her, like a side eye of her, during the 2016 debate. Trump was, I don't know, I remember exactly where I was. I was at the gym and watching the debate and all of that. And that's something she said at that time. I think she was with CNN. I didn't like her, but occasionally I'm seeing more the humanity of her. But I guess, let me just say, Trump fooled a lot of people, okay? And people come to realize, you will never know he had any problem, any issues. Alright, we're gonna do a prayer. I'm going through all of that. There's all of that. Wow. You know, his father touched his soul. Wow.
Gus and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you. I'm letting you in.
Gus. If I knew this was there, I would not even go look for it. You know, you've done well as a parent when your kids are as proud of you as Gus and Hope are of Tim Walz. That's my dad. No 3 words better describe our next vice president. Yeah. But anyway, so let's do a prayer. I put here, prayer for healthy humanity. Dear Lord, we come before you to seek your blessing of good health. Grant us the strength to lead vibrant, energetic lives and the peace to enjoy every moment you give us. May your protective hand guide us away from illness and pain, and may your healing touch restore those who are already suffering. Okay, so that's that. Thank you for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. There's a possibility I might turn this video into 2 parts because it's an hour and 15 minutes. Alright, so that's it. Thank you for watching.